Step into Georgia's forgotten towns and you can feel the weight of lost dreams. Streets once full of children, homes full of life, now swallowed by weeds. Auraria, Skull Shoals, Ebenezer, each corner holds secrets of ambition, love, and lives quietly erased. The American dream didn't fail here. It was quietly stolen by time and circumstance. I could feel it in the empty windows, in the wind that moves like a sigh through abandoned homes. These stories are waiting for someone to remember. If you're enjoying this journey through Georgia's forgotten towns, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to Traveling Guide Hub for more adventures like this. 1. Auraria, Georgia. Most people think the American dream dies loudly, with chaos and fire. But in Auraria, Georgia, it disappeared without a single scream. One day, the town was full of hope. The next, it was almost gone. How does a place vanish silently? That question haunted me the first time I stepped onto its empty land. Wind moved through the trees where homes once stood. Birds filled a space that human voices abandoned long ago. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that hurts. I could almost hear whispers of people who had lived here, and it made my chest tighten. Auraria was founded in 1832 during Georgia's gold rush. Miners arrived by the hundreds, believing gold would change their lives forever. Shops opened, homes were built, churches and schools thrived. For a brief moment, Auraria seemed unstoppable. The American dream felt alive, tangible, within reach. But Auraria didn't fade slowly. It collapsed in just a few short years. When gold was discovered nearby in Dahlonega, opportunities shifted overnight. Businesses packed up, leaders left, even the county seat moved. The town went from vibrant to empty faster than most people lose a job today. Some families stayed too long, hoping the dream would return. By the time they realized it was gone, there was nowhere else to go. Homes were abandoned with furniture still inside. Children grew up watching neighbors vanish one by one. Some houses still stand, but one building has a story I couldn't stop thinking about. A small home with a cracked doorframe, the faint shadow of someone who once laughed there. That moment made history feel alive. These were real people, not names in a book. These people did not fail. Time did. Progress moved on, and Auraria vanished without a fight. Walking there, I couldn't help but reflect. Even now, people chase opportunity the same way, believing the next place will finally be enough. Auraria is a warning. Success isn't loyal. It rewards speed, not faith. Auraria didn't just die. It whispered its end and left a warning for anyone chasing the American dream. I left feeling heavy, but strangely grateful, because sometimes the quietest stories are the ones we need to hear the most.
2. Skull Shoals, Georgia. Skull Shoals vanished almost without a trace. How does a town disappear silently, leaving only whispers of the lives that once thrived? That question hit me the first time I walked its overgrown paths. Today, it's easy to drive past and see only trees and crumbling foundations. But centuries ago, Skull Shoals was alive, full of ambition, wealth, and a dream that refused to last. The contrast made my chest tighten. Wind rustled through the abandoned mills. Birds chirped where children once ran barefoot along the riverbank. Hammers clanged against fresh wood, and the river hummed a tune of life. I tried to picture it. The laughter, the hard work, the smell of flour and sawdust mixing with the river mist. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that hurts. Skull Shoals was born in the late 1700s as a river-powered mill town. Families believed the river would protect their livelihoods forever. But rivers have their own rules. Floods struck repeatedly, destroying mills and homes. Each rebuild demanded more than the last. Some families left, others stayed, clinging to stubborn hope, refusing to admit the town was dying. By the mid-1800s, Skull Shoals had become almost unrecognizable, a ghost of its former self. Some remnants remain: a cracked stone foundation, a fallen mill wall, a cemetery swallowed by weeds. One house caught my attention. Its tilted doorframe seemed to hold secrets. One corner of the town hid a secret I couldn't shake. I paused, imagining the people trapped by circumstances beyond their control. And yet, one foundation whispered a story that still haunts me, a tale of hope, stubbornness, and quiet loss. These were real people, not names in a book. They did not fail. The river did. Time did. Progress moved on, and Skull Shoals slowly faded, almost invisible to the world. Walking there, I couldn't help reflecting on modern life. How often do we cling to ambition, expecting it to remain safe? Skull Shoals reminds us that progress can be cruel and fleeting. It rewards preparation and punishes stubbornness, often without warning. Skull Shoals didn't vanish in a storm or a scream. It disappeared softly, almost silently, a warning whispered by the river itself. I left that day feeling the weight of a vanished town and the lives it carried, a silent lesson about ambition, hope, and the fragile nature of dreams.
3. Ebenezer, Georgia. Ebenezer, Georgia doesn't shout its history, it whispers it. Yet centuries ago, it was full of hope. Now, almost nothing remains. How does a town disappear so quietly? That question struck me the first time I walked its silent fields. Today, you'll find little more than broken foundations, scattered bricks, and a small cemetery hidden in the weeds. But long ago, Ebenezer thrived, a place built on faith, courage, and the dream of a better life. The contrast made my chest tighten. I tried to picture it. Women carrying water from the river, children running between simple homes, the church bell calling people together for prayer. The air must have smelled of fresh bread, burning wood, and wet earth. The silence now makes that hope feel almost sacred. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that hits the heart. Ebenezer was founded in 1734 by German Lutheran Salzburgers seeking religious freedom. They cleared the land, built homes, churches, and farms, and worked tirelessly to create a community that could survive despite hardship. But history had other plans. The Revolutionary War brought destruction. Families fled, fields went untended, and some never returned. Trade shifts and economic pressures slowly drained what remained. Ebenezer didn't collapse in a day. It vanished piece by piece, like sand slipping through fingers. Some remnants remain: a small cemetery with tilted headstones, the crumbling old church, and a few stone foundations peeking from the overgrowth. One grave caught my attention. I paused. I imagined the people buried there, their hopes, daily struggles, and the quiet despair of watching their town fade. Some foundations hide stories no map records, stories I couldn't stop thinking about. One house whispered the secret of resilience and loss, making the history feel alive and painfully human. These were real people, not names in a book. They did not fail. Time did. Circumstance did. Ebenezer slowly disappeared, leaving lessons carved into the land itself. Walking there, I reflected on modern life. How often do we cling to hope, believing effort alone guarantees survival? Ebenezer reminds us that courage and faith are powerful, but they cannot always shield us from forces beyond control. Ebenezer didn't just vanish, it whispered its end, leaving a warning carved into the earth for all who chase fragile dreams. I left that day carrying the echo of a town that once breathed hope and now exists only in whispers. A timeless lesson about ambition, faith, and the quiet fragility of life. 4. Oscarville, Georgia. Oscarville, Georgia doesn't announce its end with fireworks or headlines. It vanished quietly, leaving only whispers of lives that once fought to survive. How does an entire town simply disappear while the world keeps moving? That question struck me the first time I walked its empty streets. Today, you'd see only trees, crumbling foundations, and overgrown paths. But centuries ago, Oscarville thrived, full of families, hope, and hard-earned dreams. The silence now carries weight that no history book can convey. I imagined it. Children running barefoot through dusty streets, women carrying buckets of water from nearby wells, men tending fields or working small shops. Hammers rang against wood, carts rolled over rough roads, and the church bell called people together. The air must have smelled of fresh bread, burning wood, and the faint tang of the surrounding forest. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that aches. Oscarville was established in the early 1800s by African American and white settlers seeking work and community in rural Georgia. For decades, it quietly prospered. Families farmed, traded, and built lives dependent on resilience and cooperation. But the town's stability was fragile. Repeated floods and collapsing trade routes slowly eroded prosperity. Families began leaving, searching for safety and opportunity elsewhere. Some stayed, hoping the town could survive the next disaster, clinging to memories and stubborn belief. By the late 1800s, Oscarville was nearly gone. Some remnants remain: a few brick foundations, a collapsed barn, and a small cemetery with leaning headstones. One partially intact home caught my attention, its broken windows and tilted frame guarding the secrets of lives long gone. One corner of the property hid a story I couldn't shake. Some foundations still hide stories no map records, stories I couldn't stop imagining. These were real people, not names in a book. They did not fail. Floods and circumstance did. Oscarville faded quietly, almost invisible to the world. Standing there, I reflected on modern life. How often do we cling to dreams, believing effort alone guarantees survival? Oscarville reminds us that progress and stability are fragile. It rewards preparation, punishes complacency, and can disappear before we even notice. Oscarville didn't just die. It faded quietly, leaving behind lessons carved into the earth for anyone chasing fragile dreams. I left that day carrying the echo of a vanished town, a reminder that even the strongest communities can slip away silently, leaving only whispers of the lives that once breathed hope into their streets.
5. Conross, Georgia. Conross, Georgia is a place almost erased from memory. How does a town that once held life, laughter, and ambition simply vanish? I felt that weight the first time I walked its quiet, overgrown streets. Today, only foundations, tangled weeds, and a small cemetery hint at the lives that once thrived. Centuries ago, Conross was alive, a small but bustling community full of families chasing dreams under the wide Georgia sky. The emptiness now feels sacred, a silent testament to how fragile human ambition can be. I tried to imagine it, children chasing each other along dirt paths, women hauling water from nearby wells, men working farms or small local shops. The smell of fresh bread, burning wood, and damp earth must have filled the air. Hammers rang against wood, carts rolled over rough roads, and church bells called the faithful together. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that tugs at the heart. Conross was established in the early 1800s, with families like the Thompsons settling fertile lands along the river. For decades, it quietly prospered. Families farmed, traded, and built homes together. But the town's success was fragile. The Great Flood of 1847 destroyed several farms and swept away the main bridge. Soil depletion and shifting trade routes slowly drained prosperity. Some families left immediately, others stayed, clinging to stubborn hope.
By the late 1800s, Conross was nearly gone, a shadow of the community it had once been. Some remnants remain, a few stone foundations, a collapsed barn, and a small cemetery tucked into overgrowth. One home, still partially standing, caught my attention. Its cracked doorframe seemed to guard the memories of those who lived there. One corner of the property whispered a story I couldn't shake. Some foundations hide tales no map records. Small tragedies, victories, and moments frozen in time. I could almost imagine a family waiting for rain that never came. These were real people. They did not fail. Floods, circumstance, and time did. Conross slipped away, almost invisible to the world. Standing there, I reflected on modern life. How often do we cling to dreams, believing effort alone guarantees survival? Conross reminds us that progress and stability are fragile. It rewards preparation, punishes stubbornness, and can vanish before anyone notices. Conross didn't just die, it slipped away, leaving lessons etched into the land for anyone chasing fragile dreams. I left carrying the echo of a vanished town, a reminder that even the strongest communities can disappear quietly, leaving only whispers of the lives that once breathed hope into every street and home.
6. New Echota, Georgia. New Echota, Georgia doesn't scream its history. It vanished quietly, leaving only whispers of a culture that once thrived. How does the capital of a proud nation disappear so completely that only ruins remain? I felt the weight of that question the first time I stepped onto the overgrown grounds. Today, you see crumbling foundations, weathered stones, and scattered remnants of streets. But in the 1820s, New Echota was the heart of the Cherokee Nation, a place full of leadership, culture, and ambition. Standing there, I could almost hear voices long gone, echoing across time. I tried to imagine it, the council house bustling with leaders debating, women tending gardens and preparing meals, children laughing as they ran between homes. The air must have smelled of cooking fires, fresh earth, and the tang of the nearby river. Hammers rang, carts rolled over packed dirt, and the Cherokee language filled the streets with life. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that aches, a quiet tragedy that refuses to be ignored. New Echota was established around 1825 as the political and cultural capital of the Cherokee Nation. It became a symbol of sovereignty with a printing press, schools, and a thriving community. But the town's existence was under constant threat. The 1830s brought the Indian Removal Act, a law that tore families from their land and forced the Cherokee onto the Trail of Tears. The vibrant community that had built schools, courts, and homes was uprooted almost overnight. Families fled or were forcibly removed, leaving streets silent and buildings empty. Some remnants remain: stone foundations, the old council house site, and a few scattered headstones. One area in particular caught my attention, where the foundations of a home seemed to guard the memory of a family who stayed too long, clinging to hope. Some ruins hide stories no map records, moments of courage, defiance, and despair frozen in time. I could almost see children playing near the river, unaware that their world was about to vanish. These were real people. They did not fail. Laws, greed, and injustice did. New Echota disappeared, almost invisible to the world. Standing there, I reflected on modern life. How often do communities and cultures vanish under the weight of forces beyond their control? New Echota reminds us that even the strongest civilizations are vulnerable. Preservation requires vigilance, care, and awareness. New Echota didn't just die, it slipped away, leaving lessons etched into the earth about resilience, justice, and the fragility of human achievement. I left carrying the echo of a city that once pulsed with life, a quiet reminder of what is lost when power and progress are allowed to destroy history.
7. Brooklyn, Georgia. Brooklyn, Georgia doesn't make its disappearance obvious. Drive past today, and all you'll see are overgrown streets, scattered foundations, and trees slowly reclaiming the land. Yet, centuries ago, Brooklyn was alive. A small, tight-knit community where families dreamed, worked, and built their lives together. How does a town vanish almost completely, leaving only whispers of what was once so vibrant? That question struck me the first time I walked its quiet paths. I tried to imagine it. Children running barefoot between wooden homes, women carrying water from wells, men tending small farms or working in local shops. The scent of fresh bread, smoke from chimneys, and damp earth must have filled the air. Hammers rang against wood, carts rattled over rough streets, and church bells called families to gather. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that tugs at the heart. Brooklyn was established in the early 1800s as a farming community, populated primarily by families who had migrated from other parts of Georgia seeking fertile land and opportunity. For decades, it prospered quietly. Families farmed, built schools, and maintained tight community ties. But the town's success was fragile. Repeated flooding and the rise of larger nearby towns shifted trade and opportunities away from Brooklyn. Slowly, families left in search of safety and stability elsewhere. Some stayed, hoping stubbornly that life would return to normal. By the late 1800s, Brooklyn was nearly gone. Some remnants remain: stone foundations, a small cemetery with leaning headstones, and the ruins of a few homes. One house, still partially standing, caught my attention. Its tilted doorframe seemed to guard the memories of a family who had stayed too long, clinging to hope. One corner of the property whispered a story I couldn't shake, of resilience, struggle, and quiet loss. Some foundations hide stories no map records, tales of everyday life and small tragedies frozen in time. These were real people. They did not fail. Floods and circumstance did. Brooklyn slipped quietly into memory, almost invisible to the world. Standing there, I reflected on modern life. How often do communities, careers, or dreams vanish under forces beyond control? Brooklyn reminds us that progress can be cruel and stability is fragile. It rewards preparation, punishes stubbornness, and can disappear before anyone notices. Brooklyn didn't just die, it slipped away, leaving lessons etched into the land for anyone chasing fragile dreams. I left carrying the echo of a town that once breathed life, a quiet reminder of how even the strongest communities can vanish, leaving only whispers of the people who lived and hoped there. 8. Keokee, Georgia. Keokee, Georgia doesn't shout its past. It fades quietly into the landscape, leaving only whispers of the lives that once thrived there. How does a town built on community, faith, and hope simply vanish? That question struck me the first time I walked its overgrown roads. Today, you see only stone foundations, scattered bricks, and trees slowly reclaiming what was once a bustling settlement. But in the 1800s, Keokee was alive, a small, proud community where families worked, laughed, and dreamed. The emptiness now feels almost sacred, a silent echo of what life once was. I tried to imagine it: children running barefoot along dirt paths, women carrying buckets of water from the river, men working the fields or repairing homes. The smell of fresh bread, smoke from cooking fires, and the damp earth filled the air. Wooden carts rattled over uneven streets, and the church bell called families together. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that tugs at the heart. Keokee was one of Georgia's early settlements, growing around Keokee Creek. Families farmed the fertile land and built a tight-knit community with schools and churches. But prosperity was fragile. Repeated floods and shifting trade routes slowly drained opportunity. Families moved away, seeking stability and safety elsewhere, while others stayed, clinging stubbornly to hope. By the late 1800s, Keokee had all but disappeared. Some remnants remain: stone foundations, a small cemetery overgrown with weeds, and the ruins of a few homes. One home,
partially intact, caught my attention. Its tilted door frame seemed to hold the secrets of a family who had stayed too long, hoping the town could survive. One corner of the property whispered a story I couldn't shake, of courage, loss, and quiet perseverance. Some foundations hide tales no map records, small tragedies and triumphs frozen in time. These were real people. They did not fail. Floods and circumstance did. Kyoki vanished almost without a trace. Standing there, I reflected on modern life. How often do communities, careers, or dreams vanish under forces beyond control? Kyoki reminds us that progress is fragile. It rewards planning, punishes stubbornness, and can disappear before anyone notices. Kyoki didn't just die, it slipped away, leaving lessons etched into the earth for anyone chasing fragile dreams. I left carrying the echo of a vanished town, a quiet reminder that even the strongest communities can fade, leaving only whispers of the lives that once filled their streets and homes.
9 Po-Biddy Crossroads, Georgia. Po-Biddy Crossroads, Georgia doesn't make its disappearance obvious. Drive past today and you'd see only overgrown paths, crumbling foundations, and a quiet emptiness that feels almost unnatural. Yet centuries ago, this small crossroads was alive, a hub for families, farmers, and travelers. How does a place so full of life simply vanish, leaving almost nothing behind? That question hit me the first time I wandered its abandoned streets. I tried to imagine it. Children running along dusty roads, women carrying water from wells, men tending small farms or trading goods at the crossroads. Smoke from cooking fires mingled with the scent of damp earth and fresh bread. Wooden carts rattled over uneven roads, and the church bell called people together on Sundays. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that tugs at the heart, a quiet sadness that speaks louder than any history book. Po-Biddy Crossroads was established in the early 1800s, centered around a main intersection that connected neighboring towns. Families settled here for farmland, trade, and community. For decades, it quietly prospered. Children went to small schools, neighbors helped each other, and local businesses served as the heart of the community. But the town's stability was fragile. Repeated floods and the rerouting of trade paths slowly drained opportunity. Families began leaving, seeking safer, more prosperous towns, while some stayed, hoping the crossroads could survive. By the late 1800s, Po-Biddy Crossroads had almost disappeared. Some remnants remain. A few stone foundations, a collapsed barn, and a small cemetery tucked into overgrowth. One home, partially standing, caught my attention. Its tilted doorframe seemed to hold the memory of a family that stayed too long, clinging to hope. One corner of the property whispered a story I couldn't shake, of persistence, loss, and quiet resilience. Some foundations hide stories no map records, small tragedies, moments of joy, and lives frozen in time. These were real people. They did not fail. Floods, circumstance, and time did. Po-Biddy Crossroads faded almost without a trace. Standing there, I reflected on modern life. How often do communities, careers, or dreams vanish under forces beyond control? Po-Biddy Crossroads reminds us that stability is fragile. It rewards preparation, punishes stubbornness, and can disappear before anyone notices. Po-Biddy Crossroads didn't just die, it slipped away, leaving lessons etched into the land for anyone chasing fragile dreams. I left carrying the echo of a vanished town, a quiet reminder that even the strongest communities can fade, leaving only whispers of the lives that once filled their streets and homes. 10. Saffold, Georgia. Saffold, Georgia doesn't announce its disappearance. Drive past today and all you'll see are overgrown paths, crumbling foundations, and trees reclaiming what was once a thriving settlement. Yet centuries ago, Saffold was alive, a small, proud town where families worked, laughed, and built their dreams. How does a town like this vanish almost entirely, leaving behind only whispers of the lives that once filled it? I felt that question the first time I walked its silent streets. I tried to imagine it. Children running barefoot along dirt roads, women carrying water from nearby wells, men tending farms or working in small local shops. The air must have smelled of fresh bread, burning wood, and damp earth. Wooden carts rattled over uneven streets, and the church bell called families together. This place did not feel empty. It felt abandoned in a way that tugs at the heart, a quiet ache that lingers long after you leave. Saffold was founded in the early 1800s as a farming and trading community. Families like the Saffords and Millers settled the fertile land along the river, creating schools, churches, and a tight-knit community. For decades, it thrived quietly, but the town's prosperity was fragile. Repeated floods and shifts in trade routes slowly drained opportunity. Some families left immediately, seeking safer, more prosperous towns, while others stayed, stubbornly hoping life would return to normal. By the late 1800s, Saffold was nearly gone. Some remnants remain: stone foundations, a small cemetery overgrown with weeds, and a few partially standing homes. One home with a tilted doorframe caught my attention. It seemed to guard the memory of a family who had stayed too long, holding on while the town faded. One corner of the property whispered a story I couldn't shake, of quiet perseverance, loss, and dreams left behind. Some foundations hide tales no map records, small triumphs, tragedies, and moments frozen in time. These were real people. They did not fail. Floods, circumstance, and time did. Saffold slipped quietly into memory. Standing there, I reflected on modern life. How often do communities, careers, or dreams vanish under forces beyond our control? Saffold reminds us that stability is fragile. It rewards preparation, punishes stubbornness, and can disappear before anyone notices. Saffold didn't just die, it slipped away, leaving lessons etched into the land for anyone chasing fragile dreams. I left carrying the echo of a vanished town, a quiet reminder that even the strongest communities can fade, leaving only whispers of the lives that once filled every street and home. As we leave these forgotten streets behind, it's hard not to feel the weight of time itself. Each town, Auraria, Skull Shoals, Ebenezer, Oscarville, Conaros, New Echota, Brooklyn, Keokee, Po Biddy Crossroads, and Saffold tell the same quiet truth. Dreams can vanish, communities can fade, and history can slip away without a single scream. Yet in their silence, they leave lessons for all of us chasing the American dream. Remember their stories, carry their echoes, and perhaps in honoring the past, we can tread more carefully in the present before opportunity quietly disappears once more.